Hello and welcome to another Tuesday Talk with Ruby Reese. My name is Killian, I am co-founder at Ruby Reese and I will also be your host. This week I want to reiterate a point that we make quite a lot on this, so bear with me for 2 minutes in case there are some new listeners coming on to listen to this episode, given that the topic is all about puppies. So something that came up in the chat that I had with Ciara from Silly Hounds, who we will be speaking with in depth about puppies, is something that we come across so often in the doggy world in Ireland. And so many of us professionals do believe in building up a team of professionals that can really help you throughout your dog's life. And this kind of holistic approach can take into account things like veterinary professionals, your training and behaviour community, brands like ourselves at Ruby Reese. It can take into account physiotherapists. It can take into account all sorts of different bits and pieces that can come together and really help you along throughout your dog's life. No problem as an island, definitely. And I think a holistic approach to a lot of the issues that we have when our lives have dogs in them can definitely have, a multifaceted approach where you can kind of, jigsaw puzzle everything together to make a great life for your puppy and then for your adult dog as they grow up. And I know that Ciara, who we will speak to in a moment all about puppies, is more than happy to speak with anyone that's considering getting a puppy over the next while or has recently got a puppy, of course, as well for your older dogs. But I think the most stresses definitely come in when we're being helicopter parents to our little dogs. So Ciara is more than happy to speak with you. Or at least refer you on to someone that might be able to help in the training world. And also, of course, if you're interested in things like nutrition, talking not just about food, but treats and all sorts of different elements to your dog's diet and their life, feel free to drop us a line at Ruby Reese as well, because we're happy to help. And I think this goes for an awful lot of the professionals, to be honest, in our lovely dog community. I think a lot of us are extremely open to chatting with you, and I think most people, the absolute majority of people that work with dogs are people that really really wanted to work with pet dogs and are passionate about creating these amazing lives for our pet dogs. So without further ado, I would like to welcome you to listen in to the chat that I had with Ciara. Hello, Ciara. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. How are you doing?
Hey, Killian. Thanks for having me. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm enjoying life as it is. Yeah, good to be here.
Very good. Thank you. Would you do us the pleasure of introducing yourself briefly, please?
Yeah, so I'm Ciara Sill and I run Silly Hound dog training in Cork. I specialise in puppy training and separation anxiety, and I have been training dogs for, I'd say, nearly over 8 years, nearly 10 years at this stage. So yeah, been seeing my fair share of puppies.
Brilliant. And you picked a really interesting topic for today. We're talking about the first couple of weeks of your puppy in their new home, right?
Yeah, because I think the baseline for having a puppy is if you can get a lot of stuff right at the beginning, it makes for a much happier, smoother journey with your dog throughout their life. So getting a couple of things right at the very beginning will really set you up for a long time, and having a nice dog that you like to spend time with, which is the whole reason we get a dog.
Exactly. So I suppose before even a puppy gets home, how could an owner prepare their home for having a new puppy?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I love it when people come to me to say, we're thinking about getting a puppy. Is there anything we should do or think about before we get them? I think, to be honest, the first thing I'd always say to people is if you are thinking about getting a puppy, try consider what breed you're getting. And I know a lot of people have that already in their minds, that they want to get a certain breed for a specific reason, and really do your research on it, because a lot of breeds come with, specific behavior traits already genetically hardwired in them. So, if you do love walking, you're going to want to get a dog who likes to walk, and things like that. But in terms of setting up your home, what I would say is, get yourself organized before they arrive. So, if you kind of set your sights on a puppy and you're ready to get them, get yourself a really nice bed. Get yourself a crate or a plate and a playpen. Actually, I usually recommend getting a playpen just to kind of create a little bit of a den for your puppy. Our homes, are so much bigger than what they're used to. Their tiny little world has gotten so much bigger. So, we need to kind of, I guess, contain them a little bit at the beginning, because they are just, going to be so overwhelmed with a new home, a new owner, new smells, new everything. So yeah, get yourself a nice kind of either a crate or a bed, a playpen, obviously your kind of water bowls and a couple of toys. I'd even probably suggest holding off until you get your puppy to kind of get them fitted for a collar and a lead, because you don't really know the size that they are going to be when you get them. So hold off that and go into the shop with them and, pick up something like that for them together. And yeah, maybe try to get rid of some of, things that are very easily chewed by a puppy. So maybe keep some of your cables away. Get rid of any nice fancy rugs that you might have, even if it's just for a few weeks. The last thing you want is to be cleaning lots of pee or poo off your lovely rugs in the lounge. And just kind of make your home, I guess, a bit more puppy proof. You'll still find when they come that, okay, I didn't realize that was edible by a puppy, but it's definitely worth just kind of having, a look around to see what could possibly be reached by your pup.
And that sounds like a really good idea, like setting yourself up for success, particularly in the short term. I mean, like you say, it doesn't have to be a permanent restructuring of your living space, but removing certain things is probably a really, really good idea, and bringing some new introductions in for the first couple of weeks just to tide you over for the initial puppy phase is probably a great idea, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't have to do like permanent thing changes at all. It's just that initial thing. Set yourselves up for a nice smooth run as soon as they arrive.
Yeah. And so people are now excited to get their puppy home, and what should people be focusing on maybe in the first couple of days, and then also in the first couple of weeks?
Yeah, good one. Now, if you're kind of, I guess, if your puppy's coming from far away, like let's say you've got a couple of hours to pick them up and they've had a lovely little snooze with you in the car on the way home, obviously take them out for a toilet break straight away as soon as you come home, just so that they have that successful toileting straight away from the from the outset. Like kind of stick them right at the back or at the front, where they can go to where you want them to be going to the toilet straight away. And then I think in the first few days, like there's so much excitement about having a new puppy, and rightly so. But try to kind of keep the energy as low as possible. Like don't be trying to, I guess, get too many pats and cuddles, and especially if there's kids in the house, if everyone's picking the puppy up and putting them down, and picking them up and putting them down, it could make the puppy a little bit overwhelmed. So giving them their safe space to kind of go, a crate or a bed with a playpen around it that they can kind of become familiar with, and that will definitely really help. And in the first few days, like really just enjoy them, enjoy their little cuddles. Try to kind of get started on a little bit of toilet training, but I wouldn't be worried about doing any specific training or anything like that in the first couple of days. You really have to get to know each other. You're sort of just brought this brand new body into your home. You kind of have to go, hi, we are so and so, and welcome to our home. And you kind of want to make them as comfortable as possible.
And I love that you mentioned as well that there's a lot going on in the new home, so trying to keep the energy levels kind of low is probably something quite positive. Moving into a whole new environment could be potentially be really, really stressful for a little puppy, right?
Yeah, and if you think about it, they've come from their mom, maybe their litter mate. They've kind of just been, that's all they know already for the first few weeks. And now they are away from all of that they know. And so they might have a bit of difficulty adjusting to that, because, all of a sudden they're sleeping alone, versus in a little ball of puppies. So even something as small of a change as that is huge for the puppy at this stage. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of people sometimes push a warm, kind of not a hot water bottle, but a warm hot water bottle
Hmm.
in the crate with the puppy in their bed. So it's kind of a nice little thing for them to snuggle into. And just kind of like keep them, or try and, just give them as much love as possible, because why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And you also mentioned kind of toilet training, potty training. It's going to be a big topic for anyone that's getting a puppy. You mentioned leaving them out of the car immediately and giving them the opportunity. I suppose, would you say one of the major success factors here would be giving them opportunities to go in the right place as often as you possibly can? Might be a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good starting point. And like,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, Killian, like the toilet training is going to be a process. They're not
Mm.
going to be, unless magically they come to you toilet train. Um, it's going to be a process. Unfortunately, you probably will clean up a few accidents, but
Yeah.
what you certainly can do is start setting yourself up for, or setting your puppy up for the routine that you want them to go into. So letting them out loads and loads and loads of times throughout the day, in the same way that you'd go to the toilet normally, or the way that they would go. So if they're going out the back door or the side door, for example, that's the way I would always take them. So they kind of get used to going that route of, okay, when I need to go to the toilet, I'm going to start going in that general direction. And so by just doing that repetition, you're kind of just laying that kind of groundwork in for them, so that they understand, okay, when I need to go to the toilet, I'm gonna have to go. And keep in mind, their bladders are tiny, so
Mm.
they, you sort of think like, oh, they can go a few hours, but really, it's sort of about an hour per month of age is what they can hold. So if you've got an 8-week-old puppy, it's only 2 hours is the maximum time that they could hold their bladder. And there's loads of other factors that kind of come into play, whether they've been sleeping, whether they've been having a run around, whether they've been doing all sorts of things. So trying to keep them, I guess, or bringing them out as often as you can, and then having a huge celebration when if they do go outside, make it as awesome as possible. You can certainly use a treat if you happen to have some on you, but you could also just, really, really praise and party and tell them they're the best puppy in the world, and that will go a long way too.
Definitely, yeah. And I remember the hurdles that we had in trying to celebrate with Ruby in the middle of the night. We lived in Germany at the time. It was coming into November, minus 15 degrees, a foot of
Oh
snow
God.
on the ground. 4 o'clock in the morning out in the snow is not really where you want to be, but you still have to try and bring in the positive experience for the puppy, so that things move forward well. You mentioned a bit about building routines, so I suppose casually building in routines, or trying to get into the routines that you might like to have in the future. How important is this to do from the start, or how much of a hand are you giving yourself for the future, really, when you do that?
Yeah, I mean, our dogs, like us, are very predictable. They like to know the routine. They like to know the rhythm. So, I don't know whether we used to have an old family dog who he used to always go for a walk at 7 p.m. And at 5 to 7, he was looking at you going, right, come on. And he almost like
Mm,
he knew the time. And so that he got
yeah.
so used to his routine. And it's important that they do, I guess, learn what's going to start happening. So feeding them, I guess, their meals at certain times. Some people will leave a bowl of food out for the whole day for their dog, and I don't really think that's the best routine for a puppy, because
Mm,
they should really, I guess, have set meal times where they've got an opportunity to eat, that they're not just kind of grazing throughout the day. Once they've had a nice meal, you're much more likely to have them go to the toilet. So, if they're kind of grazing throughout the day, you'll miss those opportunities where they need to go out for a poop. So you
mm,
kind of want to make sure that they've got set meal times, or at least as close to meal times as possible. A little bit of maybe a little bit of exercise, a little bit of games, a little bit of, and maybe we'll chat in a bit about, about how much we should be taking our puppies out and stuff like that. But I definitely would say, trying to, not be too hard on yourselves, because, you've probably got everything else going on around you. You've got work,
mhm.
you might have family and everything like that. So just trying to, I guess, slot your puppy into your life, and get them, I guess, tuned into your kind of rhythm of your day. That would definitely go a long way.
Yeah. And I suppose in another way, reframing it a little bit as well, routine, you're kind of, you might see it as forcing a routine on your little puppy, but also a routine can also give them a great sense of security, can't it?
Mm. Yeah, exactly. If they know that at this time or at this time they, certain things are going to happen, they will start to, I guess, predict that and realize, okay, no, things are good here. I understand it. Whereas if they're kind of guessing, am I going to get fed today? Or
Mm.
am I going to get a walk? It actually might make them a little bit more uncomfortable. So it kind of just really does help them kind of settle in the long run, just kind of having a nice bit of predictability in their lives.
Yeah. And talking about sleep, how many hours of sleep do little puppies need? I mean, I think we kind of
Yeah.
forget that it's not just the 8 hours that we like to achieve.
And I definitely think you'd certainly know that you've got a puppy if they're just passing out on the floor everywhere, different places and things like that.
Mm.
Puppies need a lot of sleep, and it's often something that is, I guess, not maybe focused on at the beginning, or kind of sometimes gets forgotten about because it's so exciting. And puppies will go until they crash, and then they'll just out, and then they'll be, sleep on a corner, and you might step over them trying to get into the lounge or something like that. But puppies need sort of between, sort of 18 and 20 hours sleep a day, which is out of your 24 hours is a lot of your day.
Yeah.
And if your dog or your puppy isn't really getting that, what you might find is that they could be quite cranky. And a
Hmm.
cranky puppy might look like one who's biting a lot, who is very kind of, irritable and is just kind of chomping on your arms or your slippers or your dressing gown. They, can just be running around like lunatics and bouncing off the walls. And that's, I guess, a sign that they are very overtired and that they need to have a sleep. And being a little youngster, little puppy, they don't know, oh, I'm tired, I should go for a sleep. They just, keep going until either they crash out or we pop them in their little safe space for a bit of a break. So by setting up your environment where you've got your crate, you've got your playpen, you've got an area where they can go for, I would give them a lot of opportunities to just spend time in there for a couple of reasons. Like the spending time in that little playpen crate area allows them the chance to have the break, and it teaches them, that they don't have to be necessarily involved in everyone in the family all the time. So let's say you've got, a couple of kids and you're trying to get ready in the morning to go to school. You don't want your puppy under your feet the whole time. If they're having their breakfast in their playpen, you can kind of concentrate on breakfast and getting everyone ready, and then you can take your puppy out for a wee before you go and take them to school or something like that. So it is really important that they do get that rest time. And I would try and urge people to say, don't. There's no such thing as too much rest for a puppy. If you're finding your puppy's getting cranky or irritable or really bitey, that's a very much an indicator. Now, puppies do bite. That's a normal behavior,
Hmm.
but if they're biting everything under the sun and chewing your whole house, the chances are they're probably quite tired.
Yeah. Hmm. And talking about socialization, how can owners start the socialization process in a safe and positive way?
Yeah, socialization is huge. And thanks for bringing that up because, yeah, it's one of the, I guess it can be something that is often maybe thought about doing later on, as their puppy
Hmm.
gets a bit older. But from the moment your puppy gets into your house or into your home, they're learning and they're understanding and they're kind of being socialized or exposed to your world. So you certainly want to start socialization. And now, when you hear the term socialization, I don't know, a lot of people sort of think of playing with other dogs or meeting other dogs or, having lots of play dates with other dogs. And dog to dog socialization is important, but dogs will kind of come and go throughout your life with your puppy. What
Hmm.
will not come and go is your environment. So, if it's a snowy -15-degree day, your dog has to get used to going out to it. Or if it's raining, I mean, we live in Ireland, so it's going to rain most days. We
Hmm.
want to make sure our dog can be out in the rain, because if your dog, isn't comfortable being in the rain, you're not going to be able to take them out for a walk. So we want to make sure our dog gets used to the environment more so, I guess, than, like just always playing with other dogs. So when you get a puppy and you think of socialization, there's so many things you can start doing. You can start taking them out into the backyard. You can start taking them out at, nighttime, daytime, when it's really windy. You can start showing them different surfaces, tarmac, concrete, you know, um, grates on the floor, grass, bark, all sorts of different surfaces that we sort of take for granted. But a puppy needs to be able to feel those different surfaces.
Mm.
So there's lots of loud noises. We're coming up to Halloween soon here. And so, there's going to be bangs, there's going to be people dressed up in fancy outfits and scary masks and things like that. That is a huge socialization for a dog. And so many dogs are afraid of either, loud noises or scary looking faces or things that they've never seen. So when you think of socialization or when you're trying to start to do it slowly. Like, don't just throw your dog into the middle of the busiest place ever, but just, maybe go for a drive with them, take them in the car down to your local coffee shop, hold them in your hands and let them, order a coffee, and then, let them sort of see the sounds and the smells and meet a couple of people maybe, and, maybe a dog or two. But I'll just chat to you in a minute about, if we've got time for it, just about like socialization and your puppy's vaccinations, if that's okay.
Yes, I'd love to move on to vaccinations in just 1 second. I just wanted to ask, I suppose all of these sights and sounds and smells during socialization are going to be really exciting for your puppy. I'm guessing you don't really need to try and make these, bring up the energy and make these seem like really exciting events even more on top of it, right? We should probably be looking to bring the energy levels down and saying these are really normal and almost boring facts of daily life. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. We want them to be neutral,
Yeah, yeah.
or happy in those environments with different things. You don't need to be making it too over the top or too exciting. And now if your puppy is nervous or slightly kind of going, oh, that's a strange sound, I haven't heard that before,
Mhm.
maybe take a few steps back from it, or, maybe
Yeah,
cross the road if there's a building site or something, and just let them take it in and just sort of let them go, oh, okay, that's a building site, that's noise, or that's a hammer or something like that. And you can make them feel better by adding, a couple of treats or a play session or a couple of packs or whatever. But, you want them to be just kind of going, okay, I can walk down the street and I'm not afraid of post box, or I'm not afraid of, the
yes.
postie. So we want to just make sure that they just see as much as they can and be quite neutral. So
Yeah.
small socialization bites is really, really good.
Mhm.
5 or 10 minutes a day. They don't need an hour's long walk by any means at that age. So small little bits of socialization, and then you can certainly take them for a snooze afterwards to get them really, really nice and happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you mentioned vaccinations, so that's going to be a topic that's on everybody's mind, I'm sure. How do we kind of navigate the world with a partially vaccinated puppy when we're trying to socialize them?
Yeah, and one thing I should have mentioned as well is the I guess the critical socialization window for a puppy is 16 weeks. So from 0
Hmm.
to 16 weeks, I guess they're at their most impressionable. And so that's the time where we want to show them as much as we can within I guess our capabilities and our reasoning. But during that stage, they don't have that full protection of vaccinations. So you want to be very smart at where you take them and who you meet with and what you sort of show them. Um, if you're now, I'm not a vet, so I'm not giving you any sort of medical
Hmm.
veterinary
Yeah.
advice, but your dog, you can't go back in time and re-socialize them. You can certainly help them feel more comfortable, but what you want to be able to do is show them the world safely. So that could be as simple as lifting your dog up and walking down your neighborhood, walking down your street. If your dog has had one, if not two, of their vaccinations, they've already got some protection of illnesses. So what you can do is go to places that are quiet, where they're
Hmm.
going to come into contact with the potential illness is through high dog traffic areas. So if you're going to a really busy park or a really busy place where there's lots and lots of dogs coming through, your risk is higher there. So I would advise not to go somewhere like that if you've got a dog who's not 100% vaccinated. In saying that, you could certainly invite someone around who's got a fully vaccinated dog, and they could have a little bit of a play date in your back garden. So doing socialization smartly while your dog has not got their full vaccinations is really important. And also there's lots of stuff you can do at home you've got the magic of YouTube. You can make fireworks happen, you can make thunder happen, you can make building sites happen, building sounds. So there's loads you can do at home, but I certainly wouldn't wait until you've got your dogs fully vaccinated before you ever step outside the front door. Take them as many places as you can while they're as young as possible. Within reason.
Within reason. And
Yeah.
I suppose there's ways you can get creative with it. I suppose, like if you really want to get them used to passing a schoolyard playground that's full of kids or something, you could drive to that area and roll down the window and let them experience it from the passenger seat of the car. There's ways of
Exactly.
of doing things that might be important for the future without actually having to kind of go there physically, walk there physically with them as well.
Drop them in a deep end. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Build it up for them. And are there any common mistakes that people make in the first few weeks with their puppies?
I think every puppy is different. So even if you had the same owner get a puppy all the time, they're all going to be different. So I don't necessarily think there's any mistakes that you could make. A lot of people try to teach them a lot at the very beginning, so they focus really heavily on teaching them to sit, teaching them to give the paw, teaching them to do things like that, which are really nice, good behaviours for the dog to learn. But they certainly wouldn't be my first thing I would teach my puppy. I'd start to teach them their name, and I would start to teach them that I'm quite valuable, that I have a lot of fun with them. I play a lot of games with them, that you can start to build up that relationship and start to teach them their name as well, because that's going to go a long way with teaching them to come back to you. If they don't know what their name is at any stage, or when they're busy and they're distracted, you don't really have much of a chance of getting them to come back to you. So in terms of mistakes, I don't necessarily think there is a lot of mistakes. One thing I guess I would like people to do when they do get a puppy is give them some time alone. Not hours and hours on end if you can avoid it, but certainly sort of set them up with a little bit of time where they can just be a puppy on their own and not be with us the whole time, because our dogs get so used to being with us that then when we leave, or we have to go to work, or we have to go out to the shops or something like that, they can sometimes then start to panic or start to freak out, and you might see sort of separation related anxiety behaviors kicking in, where they start barking, or they start destroying the house, or they start doing things like that, which is not ideal for the owner or the puppy as well. So starting to leave them alone for a couple of minutes at a time, building up to maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, where they can just be on their own being a puppy and not being entertained by us the whole time.
And then, are there any specific toys or types of play that we should be incorporating into a puppy for their development?
Yeah, I love play. Play is probably the best way to build your relationship with your puppy, because we like us, we love having fun. And puppies love having fun, and puppies love biting things. So if we can get them biting the right thing, you'll find that your puppyhood would be a lot easier. But certainly, I think at a young age, our puppies' teeth are like really, really sharp needles. So you want to have toys, I guess, that are really long, first of all. So, probably about, 30 centimeters minimum, and nice and soft ones as well, so that, you can kind of move them along the floor, sort of like a little snake or a flitting behavior. And then they can grab a hold of that end. And now they're at one side of it and you've got the other side of it. So you're so much further away from them biting your hand. Whereas if you've got a really small little toy, your puppy might accidentally bite your hand, and then you could be into, accidentally kind of going, oh my gosh, and then the dog thinks, oh, biting you makes more fun happen. So
Yes.
we want to make sure that we've got, enough of a toy that we can play safely, and we're not sort of teaching them to bite our hands or our sleeves accidentally. You know, so having long soft toys, and a variety as well. I love food dispensing toys, so something like a Kong is really great for, giving them their meal, especially if we're trying to have our meal and they eat very fast. So popping their dinner in that, in a
Hmm.
Kong, and stuffing it with, maybe a little bit of Greek yogurt or something, and giving them that in their playpen, then that gives them a space and a time to kind of just chill and eat, and it takes them a little bit longer rather than just stuffing the food in their face and looking looking for more straight away. So lots and I think of a variety of toys. When you
Hmm.
get your toys, don't, I guess, have all of them out at once. Maybe have two or three nice toys, and then you can kind of every couple of weeks just change them out. Maybe put another couple out and take those ones away, because it just keeps them being fresh. If you see them around all the time, the dog loses interest in them, and so we want them to be as happy with the toys all the time. So a little bit of toy rotation goes a long way as well.
And I suppose that different textures and different types of toys are going to be really, really interesting as well for the whole socialization piece, because textures come into socialization, but also the types of noises they make, how they smell potentially to a dog that has much better sense of smell than a human might. And I suppose even with when it comes to treats, right, different flavors are probably going to be also a type of socialization in a way.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you think about all of our senses. It's not just, it's not just about seeing different things. It's all about the textures. They can smell so much better, as you said, than we can. So they'll smell your really nice treats a long way, or a lot sooner than we can.
Hmm.
Similarly, they'll also smell the fox poo a lot further away than
Yeah.
we can even smell it. So you see your dog sniffling over somewhere and you think, something smells good over there for them. But yeah, getting them used to loads of different smells, loads of different textures. Some of those toys that have that kind of crinkly side to them is really nice. They love that. They love that kind of crinkly sound. But also hard toys are good too. I wouldn't go. I would be buying lots of hard toys, because as a puppy, their teeth are so I guess weak at this moment that they could
Hmm.
maybe break a tooth if they are chewing on a really hard toy or something like an antler. But it's good to have sort of harder toys around that they can kind of gnaw on. Um, but yeah, no, definitely try and have as much as you can, and I guess also experiment with treats. Try loads of different treats. Try kind of chicken ones, fishy ones. The Ruby Reese ones are fantastic, I found, because they are so smelly. Just don't
Yeah.
leave them in your pocket when you before you wash your clothes.
That's
Which I've
it.
done many a time.
Very
But
good.
yeah.
And now I'm going to ask the million-euro question. When should people contact a trainer, and when should kind of more formal training begin then as well?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And like, I think if you're a first time dog owner or first time puppy owner and you haven't had a dog before, like, do it from the day or even just before you get your puppy, and just say, this is what I'm thinking, like, could we get some training? The clients I found who've had the most success are the ones who've sort of signed up for training from the very beginning, just to kind of help them, guide them along puppyhood time. But certainly, if you find that your puppy's been there for a couple of weeks and either you're not getting very far in your toilet training, they're having more accidents in house than they are outside, or you're seeing behaviors that you don't aren't really enjoying, like they're getting very bitey, or they're getting very like they're growling a lot, or they're kind of snapping at maybe some of the kids or some people in the house. I definitely think it's worthwhile getting a trainer then. I guess if you're not feeling comfortable, if you're not thinking this isn't going the way it should be going, or I
Hmm.
envision this better going better in my mind, I would say get a trainer on board. If you do see any behaviors like guarding, and by guarding I mean, like, let's say your dog's at their food bowl and you walk past and they take a snap out of your foot for walking past, or your hand or something like that. If you see any of those type of behaviors, I'd get in touch with a trainer sooner rather than later, just because that behavior needs to be addressed. And so there's lots of training that can be done to help that, but definitely don't wait for that to get better, because some behaviors they'll certainly get worse if they don't get training or intervention. So I guess if you're not feeling comfortable or you would just like some help or you don't know what to do, the worst thing you can do is Google how to train my dog, because there's just so many conflicting different things out there. So getting one source, I guess, is really helpful rather than trying to navigate YouTube or Google.
And this is a point I was just about to make. I suppose if you're listening into this and you've never had a dog before, it's a long time since you've had a puppy at home. You will have questions, and and they're not going to come at a time of day where somebody's hanging around at a vet's office lightly or whatever. So you're going to have these questions, and there'll be all sorts of questions, and it'll be overwhelming, and you'll want an answer quickly. I think building your kind of team of experts beforehand is such a good idea, because it's great to be able to reach out to someone like a trainer to be able to say, oh my God, what does this mean? And is this something serious, or am I overreacting? And like you say, Google will have 5 different answers, and none of them will sound 100% like your situation. And they're probably all the wrong advice. So it's so important to have the team of experts kind of ready to go, and then have your puppy classes lined up and all the rest of it as well for the future. But it is an exciting time, and I suppose it is one of the most important things I think people forget, is that it's supposed to be enjoyable and fun for everyone involved, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And if you're having issues with your puppy, it takes away a little bit of that fun. And it really should be as fun as possible, where you are just having a good time together. And yes, there will be moments. And, I often say to a lot of my clients that, if you don't sort of think once a day, why did we get a puppy? Then you're not doing it right, because they're fun, they're silly, they're goofy, they're chewing stuff that they shouldn't be chewed. And I really do think like setting yourselves up and having a lot of management in place will just make your life so much easier. And if they can't practice chewing on your rug because you've already lifted it up, then when they're a little bit older and you put the rug down, they're not going to do that again, or they're not going to do that behavior, because they're learning those kind of initial behaviors of what's right and what's wrong in the very beginning. So, setting yourself up for success means that you'll have a nice time with your puppy. And as you said, making sure if I do things don't go right, have I got a trainer in the back of my mind, or have I got someone who I can reach out to? Because I also think there's nothing worse if you're just sitting there at 2 o'clock in the morning going, is this normal? And you're trying to find someone and you can't find who you're looking for at that moment. It kind of stresses you out a bit more. So yeah, having people or contact definitely really helps.
Exactly. Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about this amazing topic, Ciara. I appreciate it so much.
I know, sorry, I could keep going on. I could ramble forever because I just love talking about puppies, but it's
a huge topic, and it's really difficult to give such a concise introduction, so I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no worries. Nice to talk to you again, Killian.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
And once again, a huge thank you to Ciara Sill for joining us on the podcast this week and sharing so much information about the absolute huge topic of puppies. If you would like to find out more about what Ciara gets up to and what she does at Silly Hounds, you can find her website and her social media handles in our show notes, along with our own Ruby Reese handles and website as well. If you think somebody else might benefit from this podcast, please do share it with them. And of course, if you're not already following us wherever you listen to your podcasts, please do so. It really helps us out. We bring out a new podcast episode every single Tuesday, so we really look forward to seeing you once again next week for another episode. Thank you and have a lovely week.